In this video, I want to talk about node that I made for Houdini called Thicken Plus. So this node is modified version of the lab's node Thicken, and I have basically added features that I thought that the lab's node is missing, and basically things that I needed when I am modeling inside Houdini. So the most importantly, the thing that I thought was missing is the ability to individually control the extrusion on both sides. So the idea is that default Thicken node can only extrude polygons on both directions uniformly. So this option for the Thicken Plus node is also available, but I have two more modes for it to have. Basically, I have two more modes. So if you go to the mode ratio, that means that we can say basically the combination of the depth will be 1, and then I can move this slider to change its extrusion amount. So you can see that, let's say my combined extrusion is 0.5, and if it is at the 0.5 at the ratio, that means that both sides will get the equal amount of extrusion. But if, let's say, I start to move it upwards, you can see the most of the extrusion is going to go to the outside of the polygon, and the inside is going to be a lot smaller. So this is kind of a nice way to add some little bit of a thickness also on the inside, or other way around. So yeah, so this is the ratio mode. Or we also have ability to thicken basically individually how much ever you want to for your extrudes to be. So you can see that for the unique mode, we can say, okay, the extrusion in the front is going to be 0.5 and on the back 0.3. So that's also very useful. Another cool thing that I have added is actually generation of the groups. If you go ahead and turn this on and enable these groups, you can see that we have by default is going to open up and generate three groups called front, which is basically the front extruded primitives, the sides, the side primitives, and also the back extruded primitives. So this allows you to quickly basically splitting out the geometry on however you want to use it later down your network. So these three operations are for when you have set up your primitive edge normal extrusion mode. And since the node internally uses the extrude node to do this thickening, you know that extrude node also has ability to use it by point normal. So the point normal has to be, you have to set it up. This kind of extrusion on both sides, it's a little bit more tricky to set it up correctly. So let me showcase a typical way that why you would want to use basically the thicken node with the point normal extrusion mode, which is not very often when you want to set it up, but how to set it up I'm going to show you very quickly. So idea is that I want to extrude this arc. Maybe I want to thicken this arc, but the problem is that if I'm using something like a primitive edge normal extrusion mode, the very common thing is going to be that the ends of this arc is not going to be flat with the surface, since the primitives that start this arc are actually not straight. You can see at the very beginning these are not actually straight, and basically the normal of the primitives actually points already upwards. So the quickest fix would be basically flattening out these primitives to point them towards the positive and negative z-axis. But we can actually so we can do it before any extrusion. We can go ahead and fix up our normals. So this is where the idea comes from here. So I'm putting down the basically usual normals on the points. And you can see the points also basically are mirroring the primitive normals. So what I am doing now, I'm creating a new attribute called _n. So let me go ahead and turn off the negative and normal regular normals and underscore normals. Let me go ahead and showcase you these. You can see I'm basically taking the start and end points of this arc, and I am flattening out these points. So for the geometry, there are 2 points on the positive x-axis and negative x-axis. These, and I'm just flattening them to align exactly with the grid to be straight. And then in a thicken node, all I have to do is say I want to use a point normal. I want to use an attribute, and I have to point to my unique attribute that I have just set up called _n. And then you can see that I can use all of these modes and I'm getting, since I'm using this point normals, you can see my extrusions are now straight with the bottom of the grid. So this also obviously, since it uses underneath uses the extrude node, it also obviously works with the regular extrude node. But just to showcase how to set it up for the Thicken node, I just wanted to showcase this method to setting it up for the Thicken node. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.